Chris Yandick, C1 Review, covering Las Vegas and the world. The biggest game of the football year is this weekend between the Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots. Today we welcome back former Green Bay Packers quarterback, of course also UCLA Bruin, Brett Hundley. In his post-NFL life, he has been helping those who deal with epilepsy and other disabilities with the Hundley Foundation. Go to hundleyfoundation.org to find out more information. He's also in real estate these days. We'll talk about the Hundley Foundation, real estate, and football. Brett, thanks so much for being back on C1 Review today. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, I'm very excited to have you here. So as a former NFL quarterback, how are you feeling today if you're Sam Darnold or Drake May? Nobody expected this matchup. What is your advice for them?
Oh, man. I think for both of them, as Sam Darnold's been playing for a while, Drake, younger quarterback, enjoy the moment. I think that's the biggest thing. These are two new quarterbacks into the Super Bowl, so I'm sure a lot's going through their head. But at the end of the day, it's just another football game. There's a lot more to it, but it is another football game. And so I hope they take the approach of that, just waking up, doing the same thing that they've always done to get them to this moment and not letting the moment be too big for them.
I mean, it's hard enough to win an NFL game as a starter. You won a couple of those, obviously. I mean, again, there's only probably a couple hundred quarterbacks in NFL history who've ever won an NFL game to begin with. But both of these quarterbacks, of course, have multiple seasons left in their careers. But do you actually think there could also be this feeling that I may never get here again?
Absolutely. I think it's a testament for them to get here. But I also, even a story about some of the things for the Packers, I think at the beginning of my career, we got to the NFC Championship. That was when Atlanta went and, lost the 28-6 lead. And as, the Green Bay Packers, we got destroyed in the NFC Championship. But that was, I think, the second year of my career. And I don't think I ever made it back to the playoffs. And I had an 8-year career. So that's how hard it is to get to this level, especially the Super Bowl. So for them, this is a huge moment, but I hope they also realize, make the most of this because, again, you might not make it back.
Yeah, I mean, the reality of what it comes down to, just to get on the field and have snaps as a quarterback is a big deal. And people don't realize that, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. It's a huge thing. And I'm excited for both of them. I think for both of their careers, especially for Sam Darnold, Drake May, this is a great start for him. But Sam Darnold's been, bouncing around, and for him to get picked up and now in a really good position with Seattle, really, really excited for him.
What do you think about that whole situation? He goes to the Jets, nothing really happens, has some success with the Vikings last year, has some success with the Seahawks. What does this say about how we need to give quarterbacks time when they transition from college to the NFL?
Man, that is a great point. I've talked about this specifically for a while. And it's because when I came into the league, I came into the quarterback system, Green Bay, and their philosophy was to coach a quarterback and give you time. And you see that with Jordan Love, with Aaron Rodgers, with Brett Favre. These guys were into the league and they were groomed. Now the league has become such a what can you do for me right now instead of a long-term commitment. And you see the teams who actually invest, like Patrick Mahomes, who had to sit for a second, a couple of years under Alex before he got to play. But it gives quarterbacks time to really get an understanding of what the NFL has. I mean, you're learning a different offense. You're learning a different coaching staff. You're learning you're playing in NFL now. It's a lot to handle. And these guys who are coming in first round, and I understand, it's a lot, but if these teams were just slowed down a bit and actually coach and groom these quarterbacks a little bit and give them time to come into the position rather than forcing them in. And then when they don't, perform right away, then they sort of lose interest and move on. That's just not the way this game is played. You have to groom these quarterbacks, and you see the teams who are doing it have success and have longevity in the league.
Yeah, I mean, the Bryce Young story to me is the best story of the year. Yeah. The guy gets, beat up for 2 years. Everyone says he's a bust, and they go to the playoffs this year in his third year.
100%. And I'm excited for Bryce because David Canales, he was my quarterback coach when I was at Seattle, one of my favorite coaches all time. And I think when you put the right coach, and David is that type of coach who can actually, one, speak to players on a personal level, and actually understand what they're going through, and then two, teach them the position of quarterback, how they should be playing when they get to this next step and in the league, and give them time to do it. I think that's why we see Bryce Young now doing, the things he's doing, and I'm excited for him and for Dave Canales.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very excited for Bryce. I think it's the greatest story of the year. I was so happy that he had a chance to have a playoff game. I mean, they beat the Rams during the regular season. It just felt like they were the better of all the teams in the NFC South. So moving ahead, listen, everybody's taking Seattle. I think Seattle was the better all-around team. I don't think New England played anybody during the regular season in the NFC besides, teams like the Giants. That's just not going to get it done. I think I've been saying the whole year that the NFC is the better conference, but the NFC West is the best division in football.
Yes.
Is Seattle's all-around defense, all-around team just going to be too much for New England and Drake May? I think so.
Yeah, when I was looking at their schedule, absolutely. I think though it does take something, and the Patriots have shown that they did beat. Unfortunately, the Broncos didn't have the quarterback, but they beat some teams in the playoffs that got them to the position they're in. I think it'll be a great game. I think the Patriots are well coached. I think Seattle is well coached. They both have all around teams. I'm a little biased at the end of the day, though. I play for Seattle, so go Hawks. I hope they win, and I do expect them to win this one. I think they have the overall team that could really put some pressure on them.
Being that you were in Seattle for a year, can you just tell people what the environment is like there with those home crowds?
It is one of the best things of football. I think when you talk about Seattle has a great culture, Green Bay has a great culture. The Chiefs have a great culture. Even the Patriots have a great culture. But you see these teams, no matter who's the coach, who's the quarterback, they have a culture about them that also, year in, year out, they're producing really good teams. And my time in Seattle was amazing. I mean, Pete Carroll was there, and the home atmosphere, the crowd. Seattle fans are some of the best fans in the NFL. So you always get a little bit of advantage playing for Seattle.
All right, let's just talk a little bit about what is your favorite football story from your NFL career with the Packers as a starting quarterback? What are your favorite memories in general?
I got a good one for you. It was actually with Seattle, random enough, but I had just came from Green Bay and had my time there, and it went good, bad, however we want to look at it. But I got the next opportunity to play when I left Seattle. I was with Russ for a year, and then I came to Arizona. And when Kyler got drafted, I was his backup. We were at Seattle, playing at Seattle that next year when I was playing with the Cardinals versus Russ. This game, Russ had broke the franchise passing record that game, and Kyler had an injury, came out at the second quarter. I came in, had a really good game. This was, a really good time for me to get back on the field, play. We ended up winning the game, and Russ signed the jersey for me. And I don't think he understood. He didn't realize, again, at the moment he had broke the franchise record, but he gave me the jersey. We signed and exchanged jerseys, and I tried to give it back to him after. Just it was a big moment for him, and he told me to keep it. And I still have that jersey hanging up on my wall at the house. But that game, not only that moment with Russ and just all about who he is, but more so just the opportunity to get back on the field and play. That's what we all play this game for. So for me to come from Seattle, be in Arizona, then get the chance in Seattle to play versus Russ and end up winning the game and have a really good game, it was just one of my greatest moments playing in the NFL.
Yeah, here's my response. You got a mini Pro Football Hall of Fame in your house, right?
Yeah, 100%. I got some good jerseys hanging up. And that one with Russ, when he broke the franchise record and signed it for me, that's one of my favorite jerseys.
So let's talk about you transitioned to real estate. How has life been after football? What's the most important thing you've learned?
Man, I will say life is great. I mean, absolutely. You're not worried about, getting up, performing every day. You got people on top of you. I'm not getting hit by linemen anymore, D linemen. Life has been good, man. I am truly enjoying this side of life after football. The transition has been really, really well. When I retired, me and my wife been living abroad for 2 years. We left the country and just moved back about 7-8 months ago, but really got heavy into real estate and out here doing developments and also buying and holding, doing, fixing and flipping brand new builds. So a lot of that. My wife is an agent. My mom, she went to school for interior design. So I'm able to work with the family, man, and enjoy this side of life with real estate. And I'm here actually at one of my rentals right now. So just enjoying it all, man.
That's phenomenal. Well, here's my question. Do you just think that the majority of the NFL players and athletes in general from the professional side are just not ready for what's next? It seems like you've transitioned okay, right?
Yeah, I'm great, so grateful for my transition, and I got started before my last year in the league, so that really helped me in my transition. But for most, I think the biggest thing is just separating the identity piece between what we were when we were playing football, and that was our whole life, to what is now, who what the next mountain is going to be for us. And I think that transition piece, the identity, and then figuring out our next mountain and our next passion outside of football, I think that's the hardest struggle for a lot of athletes. And I know the NFL is doing a lot better job at putting money behind players who are vested to go to school. They're paying for my masters, all these schools and stuff, and just being able to take advantage of the opportunities that the NFL has given to transitioning athletes, I think is huge. And we could always be better helping athletes transition into what is next in the real world. But, I'm starting to see a lot better transitioning athletes, which has been a really positive thing.
Let's just talk about that. So the NFL is paying for retired players' schooling if they want to go back to school. Explain.
Yeah, absolutely. They're putting money, and I'm able to. I went to multiple schools at this point. I went to Harvard Transition Business School. They paid for that. I've went to the PAC program, which is partnered with Miami University. They paid for that. I'm taking courses, my general contracting, some other licensings this year. They're paying for that reimbursement, and then after that, I still have enough money that they'll give me to go and take my master's and pay them, and hopefully my executive MBA, and they'll be paying for that. And so the NFLPA does a good job with their reimbursement program, and then the NFL actually has a grant that they give out every year to retired athletes. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. It's just I do want to see more guys taking advantage of it. They have it available. And for me, I'm taking full advantage of it. I'm trying to go and take as much schooling as I can. And they have paid for all of it. So I've been truly, truly grateful for what they've provided me in my transition.
Well, I just think that's phenomenal because I've never heard about this before. I've been doing C1. I've been doing interviewing for 25 years and interviewed lots of football players. I follow the league, love the workarounds in the league. Here's my question: is there a minimum amount of time that a guy has to play in the league to access these benefits? How does it work?
Yeah, that's the tricky part. So you have to be vested, which I think is 3.3 years in the league, and unfortunately, the average is about 2.7, 2.8. So it's business at the end of the day. They're not going to probably just a guy who's in for a year or two give these benefits to. But once you're vested, then you get a certain amount of money. And if you keep playing every single year, it builds and builds. So they do have some great retirement benefits as well for guys. And like myself, I played 8 years. So really, really had a good sort of nest egg once I left. And they've done a good job with the amount of money I've been able to use to go back to school and get everything.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's motivations to make it to that 3.3, right? Besides being and keeping the contract going, there's motivations to sit on that bench and be a third stringer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There are real things. That is phenomenal, though.
100%. 100%. I mean, sometimes even guys, and like myself, I was a backup, and so wasn't playing every single week. But for me, I was suited up. I was getting my credits and adding those. And again, I was a career backup, but played 8 years and was able to experience now all of the benefits from the 401k match to the schooling tuition to them having an allotment once you're a year retired. They give you a allotment of money to help transition and stuff. So there's a lot of good things if you do it the right way. Max out your 401k, do all the take advantage of the schools and what they're offering. If you can get vested, that's the biggest thing. No matter if you're playing or if you're just a backup.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. So let's just talk about UCLA. Had a great career there. You beat USC twice, 2 years in a row. What are your thoughts on where college football is today? Is there a cause for pause here where we are right now? Do you have worries?
I don't. And the reason I say that is the National College Players Association that started the O'Bannon case that allowed players to get paid. That actually started at UCLA. I was a part of it in doing that my time while at UCLA. So I was helping out with that and doing some research, helping out. And to be honest, the only reason I say why, yes, it opens the floodgates to a lot of questions as far as players getting paid. What are they doing with the money? Are they going to be? I would rather us be discussing those questions, though, and money going to the players, because the problem that we were seeing was, I'm grateful. I'm blessed. I made it 8 years in the NFL. Most guys will not even go to the NFL. So if they're playing in college where there's a bigger chunk of guys, let's allow them to get paid. Allow them, like when I was at UCLA, I didn't get a dime from my likeness, and I was all over billboards. I was all over, everything. And I didn't get a dime for that. I didn't get any money. So if I wouldn't have played in the NFL after that, I would have done all this and made, all that money for brands as UCLA and not got nothing. So I want to see these guys who are in college right now getting paid. I want all these athletes who might not make it to the NFL and might just make it to college, or are high school stars that might not get out, to college, or they might have a career injury. I want to see them get paid. And I think I'd rather have the discussion of us saying like, okay, what are we doing with this money? What are the guys doing, rather than the money's just going to the school or the coaches. And a lot of these, people don't even know, the NCAA is a nonprofit. They're not, this is not like, that was why these coaches' salaries were getting so high. There's a lot of implications on the back end that people wouldn't understand. And I do think players should be getting paid for their likeness. And I would rather the conversation in the floodgates. And I also am not opposed to, the doors. I think there should be some discussion on like when players are allowed to transfer, and they've sort of opened the gates and just let players do everything. But I do think, once you sign that contract, if you're locked in for 2 years, 3 years, I just think there should be more discussion and more freedom for players. This should be like a free agency. I mean, if you're not playing on this team, okay, go to this team. As we've seen, the last couple Heismans have all been transfers. I think that is, find the best fit for you.
Yeah, I think that's the concern I have too, is that it's just kind of like, how do we make sure that these players maximize this money? If they get injured, they don't make it to the NFL. If they were having a chance to go to the NFL, how do we help these young people make the most of their situation? That's what I'm really asking you, basically.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, I would rather this discussion. But I think the biggest thing, and just like myself, a lot of these guys don't come from money, don't know how to manage money. I had to learn once I got it. And I think that is going to be the biggest, hurdle that we got to get over. And, getting the right financial advisors, even educating these guys on money, finances and stuff. I didn't learn finances until I was second, third year in the league, and really sort of got more into it. But, let's start the process a lot earlier. Let's get these guys, financial educators. Let's also vet the financial advisors who we're passing on to these guys, and maybe set up, trust or whatever it is for them, that when maybe they're 3 years out the league, then they can access this money. However it is, I'd rather them have something saved aside, and then it's on them. They got to do the research, and they got to also learn. That's what it'll be at the end of the day.
Let's talk about your last stop on the football run. The Las Vegas Vipers, who I interviewed, is Las Vegas' fastest growing multimedia outlet. What was that like, just to get back on the field as a starting quarterback one more time for a year?
That was fun, man. It sort of brought me back to my college days. It was a good way to go out, just get back on the field and have some fun, and even be able to, at the end, be able to coach the younger guys and stuff like that. That was more just a really fun opportunity for me to get back on the field, throw the ball around, run around, injure myself, feel what it's like to get hit a couple times, waking up the next morning. Just a really good opportunity for me, and I had a lot of fun doing that, man. It was a good way to end.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. The Hundley Foundation has 2 locations, both here. Henderson, Nevada, of course. There's one in Arizona as well, correct? Am I right about that? Did I get that right?
Correct.
Okay, so the organization provides services for those affected by epilepsy and other disabilities. Tell me how this all came about.
Absolutely, man. So for everybody, my sister was diagnosed with epilepsy when we were kids. And then my nephew, her son, has infantile spasms, which is a form of epilepsy. And, we were connected to the National Epilepsy Foundation. And then eventually we branched off and started our own Hundley Foundation. And really our mission, and we kept it broad, was to help children and families in need in disenfranchised communities. And, we kept it broad, but our base is, and our reasoning is epilepsy. So we have a great board. We do a lot of impact with the funds raised. 100%, 95% of funds raised goes into direct impact. Rick Harrison has been a big advocate and almost like a golden board member for us. His event, the Poker Run, every year goes and benefits the foundation, and we're able to do a lot with that. So that has been like a passion project of mine and my sister's. And the biggest reason was just allowing people to feel heard. When Paris was growing up with it, and me as parents, siblings, there wasn't really a space to be heard or ask questions or get connected to the right people, or even have a community. And I think that was one of the main reasons we started the foundation. And at this point, we've touched over hundreds of thousands of kids, families, people going through with epilepsy, and really sort of built a really good network. So when people are diagnosed with it, when they have a million questions, we come in, they can call on us, we can get them to the right doctors, get them connected, or just answer general questions, or just listen. And I think that's the biggest thing what people want.
How would you grade the progress of the organization so far and the biggest triumphs?
Oh, man. To be honest, the foundation grew. I was envisioning when we first started, you see all these other foundations get started. It's very small. You make the impact and you raise a little bit of money. We expanded so much faster than I could have ever imagined. I mean, we had a full board. We had directors in Michigan and California and Vegas and Arizona. And the impact we were really making was tremendous. So this became something bigger than I even dreamed of when I started it. And same for Paris. And for us, it's been the opportunity of a lifetime. And we're so grateful for everything that we've been able to do and the impact we've been able to make in this community and all these communities. Rick, again, has been a huge advocate for us. And just shout out to him because, I think sometimes people think it's the money they give in, the donations. More than anything, it's the time that Rick has taken out of his day and others have taken out of their lives and busy lives to really give in and pour into the foundation and what we're doing. So this has been the best business, anything that I have created outside of anything. And it really just goes into directing those who are actually going through what my sister went through growing up. And it's just been a really, really fun passion project for all of us.
So so here's my question. Do you get people referrals to doctors and things like that, education materials? I'm guessing stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when individuals come to us, we're able to get them connected to doctors, and that's not only in Arizona or California. I mean, that's nationwide. We have a really good beat on getting people connected to the right doctors, places, and teams and resources. We've had educational programs. We've had, support groups where you can Zoom in or you can be in person, and just sort of building a community with those who are going through and affected by epilepsy. And that has been the biggest thing. So we've really just been a big network for others who are diagnosed, and then just getting them to the right place and at the right time.
Let's finally talk about Las Vegas in general. Of course, you were part of the Las Vegas sports scene a couple of years ago, but what has happened to the entertainment capital of the world in 8 years? Tell me what you think about everything that's happened here in the sports world.
As far as Vegas and the Raiders,
all the professional sports coming basically since 17, the Knights, the Raiders, the Aces, obviously the Vipers. Tell me, has this become the sports capital of the world now, in your opinion?
I couldn't call it the sports capital of the world. We got LA, we got Boston. There's a lot of big places out there, but it is crazy to see the growth and how much is coming to Vegas. I think everybody, when they think of Vegas, it's always the Strip, and I'll tell you now, it's when I go out there, there's so much more. I mean, there's so much more. And you got the new Raider Stadium. You have the Knights. And I'd never really watched hockey until I went to a Knights game. And it was the coolest thing to be in person at these hockey games. And they have so much going on there. And it's a wonderful place to be. I think, again, growing up, it's hey, you go to Vegas, you party, all this stuff. But just going out there now, it has grown into so much more than just the Strip. I mean, you got all these sports venues. It's been a beautiful thing. And I mean, I've driven past the Raider Stadium at the Poker Run, and a little bit ago when I was out there for Kenyon Drake's birthday. And man, it's awesome to see the growth and that new Raider Stadium.
Oh, no denying that. Finally, we'll close with this. What does it mean to you to watch the football games today? Does this weekend mean anything to you at all, or is it just another weekend?
To me, I'm in the best part of my life. I get to kick back, eat some chicken wings, and watch these guys go bang each other's head. And I get to kick back. I'm not out there no more. I don't get to have to get hit. I don't have a dog in this fight anymore. I'm in the perfect position. Everybody's like, do you want to go to games and stuff? No, I like watching it from a TV. And just kicking back and relax, man. I don't have to worry about going out on a Sunday and performing. I can really just enjoy the moment and watch these younger guys who are coming up and in the moment and enjoying the moment and playing the best football they've played in their lives. That's what I want. I love watching good football now, man. And I think for me, that has been the best thing that I've been able to do. And I'm not getting hit. I can just watch from the TV. It's nice.
Last question. I mean, what have you learned about your health, your long-term health after leaving the game of football? What have you learned in the last couple of years about where you are?
Yep, man, great question. I'm starting to have nicks and bruises that I've never felt out before. I feel like I'm now getting old, but no, man, it's been thankfully for me. My wife is a nutritionist, and the NFL actually does another program they do. They send retired transitioning guys to California or wherever, and they do a big full body analysis, mental, physical, everything, and that was awesome for me. But also just sort of, when you're in NFL and you're working out every day and you're practicing every day, you're burning so many calories. You can eat whatever the heck you want. I used to have pancakes every single morning. For me, I just had to learn where my body is and what my needs are. It's been an awesome journey for me in this transition. Now it's crazy to say I'm 3 years out, but I feel great. My body feels great. I do yoga, I jog, I work out every day, and I think just keeping your body busy, staying in the routine of working out and going to do something, staying active. I love going on hikes. I love walking. For me, that has been the greatest thing that I have found. And I feel healthy. I'm still, running around and feeling good. And so it's been an awesome experience, just learning and even being better with my health. And, my wife is sort of controls that and lays the whip if I go for too many cookies. But, outside of my sweet tooth, it's been a fun journey.
You can go to hundleyfoundation.org to find more information about his nonprofit. Finally, you show a lot of real estate on Instagram. Where can they find you on Instagram as well?
Oh, yeah. So go to @Brett Hundley 7. You can find all the things that I got going, the real estate, and the real estate is streams. And that is S7 Reams, as people want to call it. But I'm doing a bunch in real estate and have been growing that for a couple of years now. And just loving every bit of it. I get to work with my family and a lot of other people out here in the community who are doing much bigger things than I am, and sort of like an inspiration. So it's been an awesome journey to sort of create a new network of friends and people and build this real estate empire.
Brett, thanks so much for being back on with us in Sea-Wannabe. We really appreciate it. Can't wait to have you back again. And I'm glad to see you're doing well in your life after football.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.